The hero's journey, waking up, awakening, can be a lonely journey. I remember I first experienced this and started to realize about the loneliness on the hero's journey when over 15 years ago, when I first started getting into self-improvement and reading self-help books back in high school. And I remember it was like as if I had discovered the cheat codes to life. Like the playbook, they have, I used to play like video games and things, Zelda and things like that. Remember, there'd be like the book, and it had all the, how to find all the little secret things and the walls and the little codes and how to beat every level and world and things like that. And I remember when I first discovered about self-help books and self-development books, it was like as if I had discovered the secrets to life, and I was so excited about it. And I remember I just wanted to share it with everybody. All my friends and everybody I could tell, and it was like I couldn't believe it how few people had any interest at all. And in fact, not only did a lot of people not have interest in it, but they really didn't, believe. It was like whatever, that's and people, I couldn't believe how people were not receptive at all to the information. So I continued on studying, and there were people that were, into it. And but as the years went on, I continued to dive deeper and read hundreds and hundreds of, various different self-help books and self-development books, and started going to seminars and self-development courses and seminars, and started starting my own businesses. And it always would blow my mind again how I would get so excited about everything I was learning, about how to learn and live more effectively. And I would try to teach it to people, and so many people, that's, I've heard that stuff before, I've read it before, that stuff doesn't work. And I remember even, at one of my job, the last job I ever worked about 10 years ago, and I remember on my lunch break, I would take that time to study, and I would read self-improvement books, or I'd be practicing my Spanish lessons. And I remember, they would tease me, George, he's reading those self-help books and things like that, and they would tease me, and I would just kind of chuckle back, laugh with them, and I was always very diligent. I was taking notes. I mean, I'm still like that. I take notes when I read and everything. And but the interesting thing is, I ended up leaving that job not too long after with my own business and everything, and some of them are still working at that job today, almost 10 years later. They were making fun of me for improving on myself. And so, again, went back, learning more, diving, deep down into different rabbit holes of self-improvement and different areas. And then I remember I discovered about game and about the pickup arts and how to, because I was always, bad with women. I couldn't understand women. And so I started learning, wow, there's books out here that actually teach you how to succeed with women and how to get girls and things like that. So I started reading all these books and practicing what I was learning to meet girls, and I was having a lot of fun with it. And then I started, trying to tell my friends about this, like, oh wow, you gotta read this, these books and check out these videos and these, courses and things, and how to meet girls. That stuff doesn't work. I already know all that stuff. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I know you guys, suck with women and you suck at getting girls. This is a book that's gonna tell you exactly how to do it. And I couldn't believe it, how many guys would just, I don't need to know that stuff, I already know what to do. And I was like, wow, I just couldn't believe it. And so again, continuing on and on my journey, I'm on the hero's journey, researching more, learning, and what I've come to find over the years is that the hero's journey and the awakening, it is a lonely journey. For whatever reason, there are people who will wake up to certain levels, but then that's it. They stop at a certain point, and then they're closed off to more information. I've noticed that people will, they'll be awake to certain subjects and certain things, but they a lot of times for whatever reason they hit a wall, and that's it. It's like they don't want to. For whatever reason, they become closed off on other areas, other subjects, that they don't dare want to go down those rabbit holes. And the more that you go down different rabbit holes and educating yourself and learning the deep truth on different subjects beyond what's taught in school and beyond just the mainstream belief on subjects, the lonelier the journey, because for whatever reason, not a lot of people want to go down deep into subjects and finding out the truth beyond what is just the mainstream accepted belief on certain subjects. And there's, and that's always kind of puzzled me, and why so few people aren't even curious. Like, it's like they're not even, curious a little bit, and they don't care at all, and it's just, the only thing they care about is the Super Bowl and, and Game of Thrones and whatever. And it always has kind of blown my mind about how few people just aren't even curious, and they don't want to research further past what is just the mainstream narrative, the mainstream beliefs. And I think that part of the reason why that a lot of people don't want to go too deep on a lot of subjects is due to oh wow, it's crazy, starting to get some crazy weather out here, is due to survival instincts. And it makes sense. I know part of the way we think is change can be potentially scary, and potential threats and everything, but and also a lot of it is due to conditioning, and brainwashing from a very young age. We've been conditioned and brainwashed to be perfect little droids or drones for the corporate machine that we've been born into, to be obsessed with materialism and in a certain, to be good little employees, for the corporate world in which we've been born into. And then also another thought on it is that not everybody is meant to awaken, and I don't really understand why that is. But the reason why I wanted to share this is because if you are one of those people that's that's like me, that's a researcher and that likes to go deep on subjects and find out the truth about things, and is always curious. I've always been obsessively curious. I live up to Curious George. And if you're like one of those people, that likes to, just to go deep and to keep learning and go to and work on yourself and self-improvement and to educate yourself, and you find that less of your friends can relate to you, and family and people can relate to you because of how you're evolving as a person, and how that can be kind of lonely because not as many people can relate to you anymore. You have a harder time relating to other people. Then I want to say this is that instead of being frustrated or upset that it's a lonely journey, to realize that there's a reason why that you are the type of person that is open and curious to this type of information, and that there's a reason why you were chosen to be the way that you are. And my thought is that the reason why is because you were meant to be a guide and to teach others and to help others. And you may not see that in yourself yet. Maybe, depending on what stage you are in life yet. But I suggest that, you do some soul searching and to see, is this true? Do you have a way of connecting with other people? And it doesn't have to mean on a mass level, even on just a small level. But I believe that the reason why some of us were chosen to wake up to deeper truth about the world is that we were meant to be guides and to help others on the process, and to also say that I remember on speaking on solitude that I remember when it used to scare me about the idea of living on my own. And I remember when I first moved out on my own, I was like terrified of the thought of living by myself. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be bored and be crazy, because I'd lived with my family, my parents and everything. And then immediately when I moved out, I had a roommate. And then finally, my roommate moved out, and I was like terrified of the idea of living by myself. And I've now lived by myself for many years. And I have my daughter, she lives with me. I'm a single parent though, so she doesn't live with me full time every other week. And but I've lived by myself for many years, and I've grown to love my own solitude. I enjoy it very much. In fact, I know this may sound weird, but I find that I'm at the most peace in my life when I'm by myself. And I love my family, I love my daughter, and I love my friends. But I've become so in love with myself, and I love being in my own interrupted thoughts, and being able to research and think of things for myself without being without having to worry about what other people think about what I'm thinking, or having other people's opinions and things affect my own thoughts. That I've really come to love and enjoy my own solitude. And so it takes time to build up to that. I don't know, again, depending on where you are and what stage you're at in life, it can take time to build up to that, to where you really just love your own solitude. But take this time, this solitude, because as you're awakening and you're evolving and you're on the hero's journey, you're going to find less, you're not going to relate to as many people. And so you may find that you enjoy more hanging out with yourself than you do in going out. I don't go out very often at all. Pretty much, I'm home by myself, just researching and studying and playing music or whatever. But I'm pretty much always, just stay home by myself. I like that. I do go out sometimes, but I just, it's just how I am. But as you're evolving and so forth, you're going to find that you relate to less people. So you're going to find that you may enjoy being on your own more and with yourself and your own thoughts, and take that time to research even further, to explore into yourself, to go inside, to learn more about you as a person. We live in a day and age where everybody is so petrified of being bored. It's like, if you got to wait in line at the grocery store for, an extra 2 minutes because the person in front of you is paying with cash instead of credit card, people lose their mind. Oh my God, this person is taking so long in front of me in the grocery store. Or people can't even go to the bathroom without looking at their phone, of course, because you can't be bored, God forbid, for 60 seconds while you go to the bathroom. And so we live in a day and age where we've been conditioned to be so petrified of being bored, and so many people are petrified of being bored and being alone in their own sober, clear thoughts. But that's where you're really going to find yourself. And that's where you're going to find your greatest wisdom. And that's where you're going to find the answers to life that you've been seeking. And, I did a video the other day about, journaling. And most of my journaling has been in the years that I've been on my own, because I've had the time to go deeper than I ever could have imagined while being surrounded by other people who are going to be, stealing your attention and, and diluting your focus. But when you're truly on your own, you can really take that time to go super deep, a journey into the soul and into your mind, and go deeper. And what you'll find eventually, that you start to find happiness in the boredom and in the emptiness. You start to find happiness in that emptiness, the beauty in the emptiness. And once you get to that place where you find peace in the silence and the solitude and in the emptiness, then you at that point, it's kind of like you can look around and you can see the insanity, and how a lot of people are living, chasing external. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody, or that, you're better than anybody, being more enlightened or whatever. But you can start to see how the insanity and how a lot of people live, and that they feel that, most people feel, and I was like this for a lot of my life as well, where you need something external to make you happy. You need an external status and achievement, or you got to have a certain amount of money in the bank account, then you can be happy. Or you need to have a wife or a husband or a girlfriend or boyfriend, then you'll be happy. Once you finally get that relationship with that right person, then you'll be happy. But God forbid you ever just happy with your own alone thoughts. And if you can truly learn to be happy and truly content with your own, boredom of just your lonely old self, then the world is yours, and forever, happiness is going to be within your fingertips. Because at that point, you don't need anything external, anything more to make you happy. Anything else is just an icing on the cake, right? An icing on the cake. And so the hero's journey, the waking up journey, improving, absolutely, becomes a lonelier journey the deeper you go. And I think that also is another reason why people stop at certain levels, is because they start to realize this. Whoa, okay, I've gone deep enough. And if I go too deep, I'm going to have no friends left, no one to relate with anymore. So I think part of it is a protective mechanism that, hey, you know what? I still want to have somewhat of a social life, so I don't want to go too deep, because you can't unlearn information. Once you learn certain things, and you can't unlearn it. Once you take the red pill, there's no going back. But if you have that calling, not everybody has the calling, and it's okay. Again, I'm not, I respect everybody at where they're at, and I don't think I'm better than anyone. But if you have that calling and that curiosity to go deeper and to self-improve, then explore that feeling, go deeper, and embrace the solitude that may come with it, and know that the people that are meant to be in your life will find their way into your life, and they will stay. You'll, through the law of attraction, you will attract a new quality kind of person into your life. Maybe fewer and far between, but those that do come into your life that can appreciate you at the level that where you're at, and your new level of understanding and evolution it'll be a deeper relationship and a deeper bond and a better connection than just having superficial connections with with people that it's just because you're just going to happy hour together because it's Friday, and that's what people do on Friday, go drink and get drunk together. And I think about, and I'm so grateful that I took the risk and taking the red pill and going extremely deep down the rabbit hole in so many different subjects and getting to the level that I'm at, because when I look back at how I used to be in my life, where I was so driven by external things and, always chasing this elusive carrot, going out all the time on the weekends, getting, hammered and partying and blacking out, and with friends that didn't, really weren't really there for me. It was just kind of like they were just drinking buddies and things like that, and we were just bar buddies and things like that, and I'm so grateful that I left that kind of life to evolve and to continue on down the journey, even though it's been a lonelier journey, because now where I'm at now, at the level of peace that I have, I wish I could just take my brain out of my head and just put it into someone's head, and if they could experience the level of peace that I experience on a day-to-day basis, then they would know truly that it's worth it going this deep down, and and although it can be lonely, but having this peace and this this happiness in my life, absolutely worth it. And I would never take it all back, because I love it. And I love the Matrix movies. I saw that movie, the whole series again recently, one of my favorite. And I remember there was a scene in there where what's the guy's name, the bald guy? Can't remember. Cyrus, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember there was a scene where he said, "My oh my, do I wish I would have taken the blue pill," meaning that he wished he didn't take the red pill and find out the truth and everything. And I think, wow, that's I'm glad that I've taken the red pill on so many subjects and gone so deep onto so many subjects and forced myself to go so deep on self-improvement and learning education in this life. Although it hasn't always been easy, and sometimes it's been, really shocking, and I've gone through different emotional stages on this journey. I can't even imagine having that kind of mindset and wishing that I never learned or experienced that. So I just remember that scene from that movie where, and obviously it's just a movie and everything like that, but and I think that's why certain people stop again at certain levels and don't want to wake up or go down the rabbit holes, because they don't want, they're kind of like that Cyrus, and that's his name, that, they just want to continue living a normal life and fitting in with everybody else, keeping up with the Joneses. But if you're that type of person that has that calling, then go deep. There's a reason why you were given this energy and this calling to go deep, explore it. And my personal, opinion, belief is that it's because you were meant to be a guide. You were meant to affect others and teach others and help others. So, anyways, guys, hope you're having a great day and just enjoying this beautiful weather out here out in my garden. And until next time, let's make it a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year. Let's make it a great life. See ya.